All right, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the S&P Sports Show. I'm your host, Sean Stewart. It is May the 11th, 2023, and I'll be on video in a couple of minutes. So tonight is the NFL release of the schedule, and then after the show was over Tuesday, it was the NHL lottery.
And Tuesday's lottery should have just been like the normal lottery, but we were talking on Tuesday's show about the funniness of the lottery and how it always feels rigged. But on Tuesday, the NHL messed up and kind of, in a way, proved it's rigged. Because while the show was happening Tuesday, in between the fourth and the third pick, before the envelope was even opened, social media and even the announcer announced what the third pick was going to be even before it was announced to the public. And Chicago ended up winning the draft lottery, and they were the market that needed this the most, with a sexual assault scandal and everything else, and losing a huge season ticket base, and it going to the third largest market in the country rather than Anaheim, which has a pretty good base. So it's being alleged that the NHL rigged the lottery for Chicago because the third pick was announced and everything else. And whether it was true or not, I don't know. But the point is it's not a good look for the NHL on it that it happened. And it's a whitewashing, as you can hear right now. That's kind of how I feel about it, because I always have my conspiracy theories about leagues rigging drafts, like the Knicks in 1985 with Patrick Ewing, Cleveland with LeBron James, and so on, right? So I always have my theories on the draft and its legitimacy with draft rigging the lottery, because as you can see, teams got the Blackhawks got what they needed, just like the Knicks got what they needed, what the Cavaliers got what they needed, right? So all these markets get what they need. Like Cleveland getting Kyrie Irving with LeBron leaving, and then miraculously getting the number one pick, and then coming back and getting it again, and then LeBron coming back to Cleveland to win them their one and only shit, right? Because he couldn't do it before, so he left to go get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minus 4 minus 3 equals 3 ships, only to come back. So they rigged it to a point. And, I feel that the lottery system is somewhat rigged by the leagues. I do agree to a point. I can't technically prove it, but it sure as hell feels like it. And this is no different. And especially for Connor Bedard, who's a generational type of player coming in, and that I think, is another, it's just not a good look for the league, is the way I look at it. And you know what? We have another generational type of player coming into the fold here next Tuesday night with the NBA in Wembanyama. And I'm going to go ahead and say it now, okay? There's no way in hell he's going to Detroit. There's no way in hell he's going into bland white people Indiana, okay? There's no way he's going to Toronto, because you wouldn't be able to market him in the U.S., okay? So what does that leave? That leaves San Antonio, who has a French connection. Okay, Houston, big market. Pretty much Washington, a big market. Chicago, even though the chances of them getting him are slim and none, wouldn't be shocked if a modern day miracle of that one ping pong ball they got hits. Okay? So those are basically the only markets I can see it happening. It ain't going to be Oklahoma City or Utah, another place you're not going to be able to market him in. Okay? He's going to end up in some big market or some place that desperately needs him that has those Dallas. Then you can pair him up with Doncic, and then they re-sign Kyrie, and then guess what? Boom. You got big men, you got guards. There you go. You know, then Kyrie probably changes his mind about
New Orleans
starting with the Mavericks, right? So, you know, like I said, it sounds fishy a little bit. I don't know what's going to happen Tuesday, but I'm going to tell you right now, he's not going to Toronto, he's not going to Detroit, and he's not going to go to Indiana. That I will guarantee you right now, that none of those teams will win the lottery and get him. Maybe I'll be proven wrong, but there's no way it's going to happen. Okay? None, zero, zilch, nada, not going to happen. Under any circumstance will those teams win the lottery on Tuesday that I said. Detroit, Indiana, okay, not going to win, and neither is Toronto. Okay? Those are three teams that if you're a betting man, he will not win the draft lottery. And I'm going to say this. If one of those three teams did somehow magically win the lottery, I'm not sure he'd come. Because he's the next generation. He's going to want to be in a big market.
Right.
He's going to want to be in a big market. He's international. He's going to want to be in a city with the lights. He ain't going to come to Detroit. He ain't coming to New Orleans or whatever Hobunk towns. Okay? It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. He's going to end up in some big market team probably. San Antonio probably being the smallest one, only because of, as I said, that small market connection is there, and those possibilities are outstanding with a possibility like that. But like I said, I have my draft day theories, conspiracy theories, and so on. Maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong. Some people have questioned it, and that's fine. You know, if you want to question, you know, whether the draft is rigged or not and everything else, everybody's got that right. It's not like the NBA hasn't proven games haven't been rigged or thrown or predictable. You know, Kings and Lakers, Bucks and Sixers around the same time in the playoffs. You know, Tim Donaghy being able to predict games and gamble, going 27-1 in one stretch and showing you the betting strategies and everything else as a ref and how refs control and dictate the league. You know, the league has their narrative on calling certain things. It's already been proven. It's not like this has been made up or anything like that. You know, Chris Paul going 0-15 before finally winning a meeting. Probably what's going to be a meaningless playoff game. But when the Suns were legit contenders, you know, every game that Scott Foster refereed, Chris Paul in that was major, whether it was the Rockets or the Suns, boom, they somehow lost every single damn time. Every single time. So, like I said, narratives. Anyways, let's talk about the football here. We're doing a short show today. You know, the schedule comes out here in a little bit. Some of it's already leaked already.
Like we
all
were
right.
in Kansas City in Detroit on opening night on Thursday. I saw
Well,
that.
You know what's interesting about that, Sean, is that the league, they're somewhat believing in the Lions, but more importantly, the Lions have 3 Thursday games this year. You know, and the narrative is that you can only give out usually 2 Thursday games to a team now, but they made an exception for the Lions because that first Thursday game is the first game of the year. There's no games played before that, right? So you effectively have off like 10, 11 days before the season starts. That's why they said, okay, cool. Well, here's your third game because we're going to put you against the Packers, 3 weeks later on a Thursday night game in Green Bay. And then you'll get your Thanksgiving Day game too. So here's 3 Thursday games. This is how we're going to reward you for prime time. And then it looks like they're going to get a Monday night game, it's rumored, against the Raiders. Now, I don't know if they're going to get a Sunday night game at all. Okay? But they're getting Thursday games. They're getting, it looks like, a Monday night game against the Raiders. They might get a Sunday game in there. Who knows? Right. I don't think the full Sunday schedule's been released. Now, I've seen what could be all the dates for all those games. Like, the Packers schedule somehow fully leaked this morning. Like, by 7 o'clock in the morning, the full Packers schedule was out there. Networks, times, dates, everything. Awesome. All that stuff for the Packers was out there by 7 o'clock this morning. I mean, yeah, some games leaked here and there before, but those were like the premium games. But not a team's whole damn schedule.
Right.
Like, I know the Vikings schedule is out there now. And so is like the Lions allegedly and the Packers. I don't know who else's schedule leaked.
Well, look at the Lions right now because they got week 1 national on Sunday night, Thursday night football, then week 4 against the Packers on week 4 on Amazon Prime. So if you live in the Detroit area, you'll be able to see the Lions depending on what network they're going to air that game.
So the question is are the Lions going to get a Sunday night game? I don't know.
Right.
You would think maybe one. They were flexed last year and got that game at the end of the season.
Right. That was the only flex I could think of.
Will they get, and if they get a Monday night game, cool. But are they going to get a Sunday game? It would probably need to be against a premium opponent, most likely. And my guess would probably say it would need to happen at home.
And it'll probably be like later on the season, if you would think.
My guess would probably be early on because I don't know if the league's completely sold on the Lions. Like they gave them Thanksgiving, but notice like if they get the Monday game, that's week 8. They give them the first game of the season, and then they got the 4th game. My guess is that if you want to flex the Lions out in the prime time, they're going to want to do it early just to make sure that it's covered in case the Lions become the same old Lions. Yeah. So like, something early against a premium team, I don't know what's all on the docket. I mean, or what that schedule looks like, but it would have to be against somebody probably really good early. Like I don't know who they all play this season. Maybe like New Orleans or Tampa Bay, but Tampa Bay doesn't have Tom Brady now, Right. So, it's like, who do you give that to if, and that's a big if, if they get that. I mean, that's the question. So right. It's hard to be seen. I mean, other notable matchups, week 1, Bills and Jets, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, home game for the Jets. You got Christmas Day, you got the Raiders and the Chiefs. You got the Jets and the Dolphins on Black Friday. First time ever a Black Friday game. Right?
Then they got a couple of games in Germany and London. It's like 2 games.
Yeah, but those are the normal international games. Actually, the Jaguars have back-to-back games in London. Kind of crazy. You know? And maybe that's being done on purpose for the fact that, I mean, the Jaguars, look at this, right? They're only getting, 6 home games this year? Because the AFC teams, I think, had 9 home games last year. This year, I think the NFC teams get the 9 home games this year, right?
Right.
So the Jaguars only get 6 home games in Jacksonville, and they're talking about doing renovations at a stadium in Jacksonville, and that the Jaguars might not be able to play in Jacksonville for like 2 years while they're doing all these renovations. Well, I'm just going to say this, okay? If that's the case, they might be playing in London for 2 years. Okay? And at that point, they might just say, screw it. We're just going to play in London and so be it. That could very well happen.
Because there were years that would talk about having an NFL team in London recent years.
I mean, or you could play half a season in Jacksonville and half a season in London. I mean, I honestly think that Shad Khan, the owner of the Jaguars, wants something where there's more games in London for this team. He might not get the full move out of Jacksonville, but, you know, while I'm being yelled at, you know, as usual in this house by significant others, yes, that I think, you know, down the road, you could see the Jacksonville / London Jaguars 4-4, 5-4, some type of combination where the Jaguars play, you know, half their games in London. You know, I think that owner wants to get that team eventually on. Because, man, if you can get a franchise in London, I mean, the franchise value would go through the roof compared to what it is now. I mean, what do you think the Jaguars are right now worth being in Jacksonville in that small market? $3 billion, maybe $3 billion. Because if Denver got what do they pay? 4.5 for Denver, and Washington's going to get 6. Then Jacksonville's probably like around 3, maybe 3.2. But all of a sudden, you become that first team overseas, and you're in London playing in a 65,000 seat stadium. Man, and you're Europe's only team, you're London's team, you're England's team. Man, you know you're going to sell out every game because your home games are going to become destination games, right? So you're going to get 10,000 fans guaranteed to come to your home games that are from the other team every game. First time European fans wanting to check your games out, then the hardcore London crowd. It's like Vegas, right? People, you know, the Raiders can count on 15-20% of the fans being the opposing team's fans because they're going to make a weekend out of it coming to Vegas to see their team play the Raiders. So the Raiders are, you know, then you're going to have the California people wanting to come and then the new locals, right? So Vegas is always going to be fine selling out their stadium too. And that's the same effect that you're going to see with London if that happens, right?
Right.
Now, this is probably the effect that they thought they were going to get in Florida for baseball when they gave the Rays and the Marlins their teams. Except the problem is that there's spring training in Florida. Okay? All the people come down during the winter and watch their teams play And then the season goes on. You know what? It's summertime and they're home. They don't want to go to Florida in the summertime.
They don't even go to the
They can
games.
stay home and enjoy the summer. People go to Florida in the winter when it's colder.
Exactly.
You know, and having two teams in Florida just doesn't
Sound right.
bold well. You know, and then Orlando, speaking of that, Orlando presented a $1.7 billion baseball stadium yesterday.
Mm.
The last thing Major League Baseball needs is 3 teams from Florida. It will not work. You know what? You want to build a brand new stadium in Orlando? Cool. Tell the Rays when their stadium lease is up at Tropicana to move down the road and play in Orlando and call themselves the Florida Rays. Right? Because you know what? I don't know if Tampa Bay is going to want to build them a new stadium. Right? Orlando, they'll do it. They're a destination. You can build that stadium on Disney and get people to come. You know what? Disney might as well own a team. Build the stadium inside Disney and you know what? Boom. You know what? Make it part of your Disney admission. You know what? Add an extra $30 to your Disney ticket on baseball game days. There you go. You know, they'll figure it out.
Right.
But yeah, I honestly think I think that the owner of the Jaguars wants to get his team to London in the end.
Hey, at least he'll know he'll sell out.
Yeah, if that look at the A's. When the A's move to Vegas, they're going to have sellouts at that stadium probably a heck of a lot of time. Because guess what? Sports gambling town. They'll work it out with the casinos and comp tickets, and they'll have in-stadium betting and you know, they might even have both. Hey, they might even have a brothel in the stadium. Who knows?
Right.
You know, it's Vegas. They're gonna do it big for baseball. You know, 7th inning stretch. You know, you do a lot of things. I don't know about that pitch clock though. You know, I'm gonna tell you right now. In Vegas, I got the perfect sponsor for the 7th inning for the pitch clock.
What would that
You
be?
ready? Hims. You know, can you last longer than the pitch clock? Ready, set. You know. Anyways, it's a joke. Anyways,
I ain't get that.
If you get it, you get it. You know. Congratulations, sir. You have made it past the 15-second mark. Congratulations. You are tonight's winner.
And then I also looked up, California has not legalized sports betting. So it would make sense for them to move to Nevada since it's a sports gambling state.
Well, California, you know, is its own worst enemy, you know, and crazy taxes, crazy property costs.
Right. People
can't afford to live in California unless you're making excessive money. Homelessness everywhere. That's why people are leaving and moving to Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas. Because, you know, because of that. Because especially Southern California, because it's I'm telling you right now, San Francisco would be like, and Oakland would be like the last 2 cities I'd want to move to. Seriously. It's pretty bad, especially in San Francisco, from what I hear.
You know, I thought Oakland was much even worse.
Well, different things are worse in different areas. I mean, pick or choose, you know? I mean, I couldn't live in either place. I'll tell you this: when Steph Curry's done, I bet you him and Aisha are moving out of town. That much I can probably tell you. But
probably, I can't afford it. We got to move because of the taxes and stuff. I mean, there's other companies move out as well, like Tesla, for example.
Not only this, but California also has the athlete tax. So, yeah, they like to tax their athletes the most in California and New York, by the ways. That's why, in a way, the Knicks, I feel, have a very hard time. You know what? I think people want to play for the Knicks. Okay? But the taxes in New York are just insane. Especially New York City, because you got state of New York, then you have a city tax in New York, plus you have the athlete tax in the state of New York. Okay?
All right.
So you play in New York, and then boom, half your games are. You're not going to see like 40% of your salary off the home games. Okay? Where you play in Texas, guess what? No state taxes. That's a win. You're making $20 million a year. You're probably saving $3 million.
Right.
You know what? And over 5 years, that's $15 million. Where would you want to play?
I'd rather play somewhere where I don't have to pay no state tax.
Exactly.
That's
I hate to say it, but those taxes matter. You know, it's like Tyreek Hill when he said that he was considering playing for the Jets. He said, "I was till I saw them state taxes."
Exactly. It does.
That's why I think the Knicks, if they didn't live, have all them taxes in New York, it would just. I think they would probably be able to attract better players. Now the Lakers are, they got LeBron, but it's the Lakers. The Lakers hold a little bit, it's California, it's sunny and everything.
Correct.
So I see the attraction, but man, the taxes in LA and California are just
like
brutal.
You can't even afford it, basically.
It's brutal. I'm telling you, it's brutal. But I mean, it's California. It's sunshine. New York, you got winter. Big difference.
Exactly.
Now Florida, no state taxes.
A lot of stuff to do.
Exactly. You're in Miami. Guess what? You can go to the club. You can pick up all the mammies. Get the Cuban food. That's why everybody wants to go play in Miami. Because
you're not too far from Cuba.
And you got Cuba, Cubans, Cuban honeys, mojitos, nightclubs, Crockett and Tubb. You know what I'm saying? I mean, white suits, Scarface, you warm weather, palm trees, banana daiquiris, the Babylon Club. You got it all.
Exactly.
I mean, Saddle Bomb. I mean, you've got it all. Throwing in some of those Scarface references in there.
Right.
Exactly. But I mean, you've got it all.
Okay.
That's why I think Miami's like the choice destination, and if you're going to ever see a super team formed again, it would probably be in Miami.
Right.
Because of those reasons.
Just like they did almost 13 years ago when Miami Heat formed a super team.
It's the most ideal place to form one. I mean, the other one would be Dallas or Orlando.
Okay.
if you were ever going to happen. I mean, I just can't see it happening in San Antonio or Houston, maybe, but
I was gonna say Houston.
Houston
But not
doesn't
San
have the
Antonio.
ownership that Mark Cuban provides.
Right.
You
'Cause the
know,
only thing San Antonio
Arizona
has
could
is
be that. Arizona could be that, maybe. But time would tell.
right. And I think I saw an NFL schedule on Thursday on Thanksgiving that Seattle and San Francisco maybe.
Yes, Seattle and San Francisco are going to be battling it out on Thanksgiving. I think that's a pretty good Thanksgiving matchup, I have to say.
I agree.
'Cause
that is a rivalry game.
I think that's a good matchup. I haven't seen who Dallas plays on Thanksgiving, but we know that the Packers and Lions and the Seahawks and 49ers are going at it on Thanksgiving. I wouldn't be surprised if it was the Eagles. Why not? Then again, I could see it being somebody else too, like the Giants. Somebody with a little brand recognition, I think, would probably end up getting that game against the Cowboys. But I don't know who. I haven't seen the Cowboys schedule. But that would be my guess.
Okay, I got the for the Cowboys. They said the Cowboys will host Washington on Thanksgiving Day.
Well, there you go. Natural rivalry. The Commanders are probably going to suck, but they're in a big market and a name branded team, even though they're the Commanders now.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Because they're not going to really get much of a prime time besides that. So I can see that. That's a good fit for that game. I figured it was going to be something like that.
Right. And they're supposed to play San Francisco on October the 5th. That's a Sunday night game.
Yeah. I mean, the league would definitely rather have Washington on Thanksgiving Day than Washington on Sunday Night Football. That much I can agree upon.
Exactly.
With that. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I think, we're going to find out soon on this schedule, and it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see some of the rest of the matchups and how they're placed, I think is key.
Correct.
At least I think on the NFL Network. I mean, like the Lions right off the bat going up against Kansas City. I mean, they won 8 of their last 10 to end the season, right? They rode a hot streak. Everybody's kind of like high on the Lions right now, and they're like the trendy bandwagon team this year. Like, everybody wants to fill out that application and join the Lions bandwagon this year. And, or at least for them to win the division. So, they're kind of the trendy hot name that's kind of come up. So why not bring that trendy hotness and put them up against the Super Bowl champs? And hey, if they pull it out and do hot, then man, could be a confidence burner and off of that, or they could get smoked and it could ruin the whole season. And then they would be the same old Lions.
And I'm seeing the schedule for the Bears. There's a couple of games they just released.
Well, the Bears play the Packers first game of the season.
And then they play the Commanders at week 5 at Washington. Then week 6, Minnesota. And then week 10 is the Panthers on Thursday Night Football. Then, wow. And then the last game is at Green Bay.
Well, first and last game, battle of quarterbacks, 2 teams that hate each other. Kind of ideal. It's kind of ideal that Aaron Rodgers owned the Bears for so long. And now Jordan Love gets to start off his reign as the Packers starter against no other than the team that Aaron Rodgers owned. Will the ownership transfership continue, or will the Bears be able to get over this?
Yeah, exactly. That's a great question.
I mean, it's kind of a nice way to start the season, I think, for those two, in a way. I have to say, I think that the league did a very good job picking that game to be the first game of the season.
Oh yeah.
I really kind of like that Lions Chiefs thing in the league's eyes, why they did it, and this Bears Packers setup.
That's more like
nice.
a Fox game of the week.
Yeah, that first week, there's a real interesting, slate of games.
Because I know week one, both networks do double headers. Because I know that more likely that Bears and Packers will be on Fox for the double header.
So I think those games are good, but we'll see where the schedule releases itself in an hour officially. And then next week we can comment about, I guess the beginning of some preseason predictions.
Right. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, you can watch the release of the schedule on NFL Network on ESPN. So since I have YouTube TV, I can watch it on NFL Network.
Good old YouTube TV. You like YouTube TV, Sean? Since we're talking, since the Sunday Ticket's going to be on YouTube TV this year.
I absolutely like it.
YouTube TV.
I absolutely like it. As long as it's not ESPN, I'm good. Because I cannot watch ESPN all day.
Let me ask on YouTube TV, do you get a lot of the normal channels that you do on cable?
You do. It depends. So, for example, we have ABC, CBS, all those local channels. And then you got Paramount Network, Nickelodeon, certain movie channels. Do you get
Boomerang channel? Do you get Boomerang, the cartoon channel?
I want to say yes.
And do you get Dog TV for all the dog lovers out there?
That's a very great question. I don't know about that. I'm
pretty sure since we're talking about the NFL's new home of Sunday Ticket, maybe some people would want to know. For me, I've been thinking about it, Sean. If I got YouTube TV, does it come with Boomerang TV? And since I'm a dog owner, I like to have dog TV playing when I leave the house for my dogs because it plays calming, soothing music for my 4 dachshunds and my miniature pinscher because somebody went dog crazy during COVID. That wasn't me, and bought five dogs. So not naming any names, Michelle, but I'm just saying that, that somebody went dog loving crazy. And while I do love these 4-legged animals, it's a little crazy on me. So does it have dog TV?
No, not that I know of. And they don't have Boomerang TV, which sucks.
Well, that sucks because Boomerang has a lot of good cartoon channels.
Especially Looney Tunes. I can't go wrong with Looney Tunes.
Yes, that's exactly why Looney Tunes. That's kind of why I wanted to know if they had Boomerang because of Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry and Scooby-Doo.
Which is my favorite. Tom and Jerry is my number 1.
Tom and Jerry is my number 2, right behind Bugs, and that. Speaking of Scooby-Doo, the new Scooby-Doo just had Joey Chestnut on there. Just one of, hot dog eating, world food eating champion on an episode. So, which I have not watched yet, but has been tape recorded for me. Yes, I still have DirecTV at one of the 2 places, but plan on getting rid of it soon.
And they have certain movie channels, they have HBO, Cinemax, Showtime.
Oh, you get that all included with the $64.99?
I think that's a separate package, for a movie package. But
You
see,
get
we get HBO. We get HBO because I don't watch HBO like I used to because they
you
got
get
all the.
you get HBO with the $64.99.
You would have to check. I don't know about that on top of my head.
See, pretty much to me, as long as I get the sports channels, I get Paramount, you know, and then I get Boomerang, Dog TV. I'm okay, I think.
Okay.
Then
So
obviously you got these Sunday games, you being in the market's cool, but me being out of market, I have to make a decision.
right.
So
Yeah.
anyway, do we have player props tonight?
We do not have player props tonight.
No player props?
No player props tonight. I want to focus more on the NFL schedule.
No house advantage tonight?
No house advantage tonight, but it will be on more likely be on Saturday. More likely be on Saturday.
All right. No house advantage on Saturday. We'll find out in less than an hour the official schedule, and maybe some teams will have a house advantage once the schedule comes out, while others will have no house advantage.
Exactly.
Coming
And
up
by the
here
way,
in less than an hour.
did you say there's like a boxing match this week?
Yeah, there's a boxing fight on Saturday. Devin Haney and Vasily Lomachenko, top rank.
Okay.
ESPN Plus.
ESPN pay-per-view.
Yeah. It's an ESPN pay-per-view. Haney probably will win in a 12-round, but unanimous decision most likely.
And then I think next week is PBC pay-per-view. That's a Showtime one.
Yeah, not as exciting, I don't think, but nonetheless.
Because I know when June hits, Fox usually do the PBC because Fox don't usually do PBC until like June, July-ish.
Well, they got to find something to fill in for the programming because
right.
Television shows usually during the summer are reruns.
Exactly, because they cancel
one-offs and that, so they got to fill in programming. So that's why boxing and special wrestling and special one-off sporting events are very big to fill the TV time slots in the summertime. That's why the Little League World Series is great for ABC and ESPN to fill all of that.
Right. I know a couple of shows got canceled so far as of right now.
So, I mean,
well, I feel bad for people that was watching SWAT because that show's canceled. Sorry to break it to you guys. That's tragic. But yes, I think the strike been lasting for like a week now, and shows right now they can't even pay the cost.
We'll catch you on Tuesday, and we'll discuss the schedule.
All right, we'll see you guys.
Yep.